we had these 2 copies of Brecht's play translated in Chinese in very, very early editions. And we carry with them during the process. We read, we play with it. I think Brecht's play was the only concrete object that grounds our experience in the film.
My name is Cristina Nord. I'm the head of the Berlinale Forum, an independent section of the Berlinale, run by the Arsenal Institute for Film and Video Art. I'm very happy to welcome today Sabrina Zhao, the filmmaker of The Good Woman of Sichuan. Hi, hello Sabrina. It's great to meet you.
Thank you. It's great to meet you too, Cristina.
Thank you very much for joining me. First of all, I'd like to ask you to describe the film in 2 sentences.
I'd say the film is about 2 young women journeying in a small town, and it's about their encounters, their imaginations, and their reflections intersecting one another.
How did the idea to make the film come up?
The very, very initial idea of the film came up like 3 years ago in the form of a short story I wrote. It's about a young widow returning to her late husband's hometown in a village. There's something about that initial idea that's still lingering in my mind, that almost somehow this uncalled for journey of a woman in a small town that she associates herself with somehow. It was very mysterious and interesting to me. So I want to keep exploring that question, and this question of what is this relationship, or what is the connection between this woman and this place? And I wanted to explore more with this question. That initial short story idea slowly just became developed into this process-driven experience for me to search for what or make new connections that could happen, or things like that.
时间过得好快啊。
所以你还在继续从事戏剧吗？
对啊，我现在在准备一部新的剧，然后是一个成都的女戏剧导演她的一部戏，她想改编那个布莱希特的《四川好人》。
四川好人，尹沈德。
对啊，你读过那部剧吗？
大学的时候看过一点。
但是这个导演他想搞得比较抽象一点，他就想把这个剧啊做得很流动的那种感觉，然后他又把那个剧的原型城市定在乐山了这次。
什么是流动？
其实我也还在理解啊。
You work in a group, you don't work on your own, and maybe you could tell me who were your allies in making the film, who were sort of like the people you shared this pleasure and this endeavor with.
Yeah, definitely. I would say Jerry Wu, the cinematographer, and Wei Hanghe, the other performer. So they're the most important people in this project, I would say. I think the experience and the process was very open and simple, and both of them have great instincts. I trust them, and for example, Sherry Wu, the cinematographer, she's not trained as a cinematographer. She actually studies art history, but I've known her for a long time, and she never really takes pictures with a camera. But I've known her for a long time, and I feel really connected to her and her visual sensitivity. So even though we don't talk a lot about what the concepts or the styles of the visuals are like, I think some of the exchanges I feel are present in the way we film things or the way we frame things, and I feel very blessed about that experience. How things are very the patience and the conversation, the exchange between us without not through words but through the process, I guess.
你可能1.7米，
他没有1.7米，快1.7米。
你说你好高。
他又高，他1.7米。
1.7米跟他一个米。
你想象你进入到或者是回到那个场景，做一个小小的即兴。
Person of Szechwan is like a starting point for your film. At the same time, your film clearly is not an adaptation of the play. Maybe you could say a couple of sentences about the film's relationship to Brecht's play.
Yeah, Brecht definitely was not in the initial idea of the film. It came into the picture after I freed myself from the screenplays and etc. While I was looking for more free-flowing connections, and that's when Brecht came into mind. And I think we had these 2 copies of Brecht's play translated in Chinese in very, very early editions, and we carry with them during the process. We read, we play with it. I think Brecht's play was the only concrete object that grounds our experience in the film, and nothing, but without limiting it, I think. So in a lot of ways, I think even though the play was written a long time ago, etc., I think it actually frees our experience from the need for authenticity or representation. It's fun. It's a fun experience, and I think the relationship between the film and the play is very simple and basic.
One thing which is really outstanding is the way space and places are captured. I really had the feeling that that's also why I was surprised to hear that the background is sort of like the background of a visual artist instead of the background of a cinematographer. And on the other hand, I wasn't surprised at all, because the images do have a very particular quality, and the way the spaces and the places are filmed emphasize this quality. And maybe you could say something about this relationship to the places, to the space.
I think the spaces, they are pretty familiar spaces. It's a small town, and it's spaces that we look at almost every day, and or pass by or sit next to. But in film, I guess we're in a process of documenting it. Sharon and I always try to find something new out of it. So whenever we're so to us, I guess it's not just about documenting the space, but the framing framing process was a very learning experience for us. For example, for every single image, we would look for the most intriguing and inspiring frame for us as well. Something that we don't normally see often, or something that's not that's familiar enough, but not too familiar. Something, and we don't care if the color or the style is consistent throughout the film, and we don't care if the framing, if the space accentuates certain image, a certain message. We only try to, for every frame, we try to learn something new about it through that framing. I guess it's an inspiring process, really. One of my favorite experience working with Sherry with the images is is looking for the new perspective and something fresh and interesting out of it. Yeah, I think I guess there's a strong curiosity to the space for us, even though we look at them a lot of times and it's very close to us in daily life. But they're not dead, and they're very much alive and vibrant and very mysterious to us too. So I guess we're trying to ingest that experience into the images.
Thank you very much for your beautiful film, and I'm really delighted that we are able to show it in this very particular edition of the Berlinale Forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cristina, for inviting me.